all right, Sixers on the clock, about 2 minutes to go. They basically took the entire 5 minutes last night. So just for argument's sake here, they'll probably do the same here, and 2 more minutes to go.
Daryl's not going to waste time. If he's got another 2 minutes left on a deadline, he's not waiting, or he's not going early.
Especially if he can make a trade, right? Trade down, just like the Knicks are doing. If he wanted to do that,
the longer we sit here and talk, it's like, why the hell did they make this a 2-night event? It really is.
Last night, man.
Although it's like, there's more opportunities for trades, and it really has just been. The Knicks are going to trade back 16 times.
You traded 51 and 56 for 40. Who cares?
God, man.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the 700 plus people that are in here.
We're having a good time. The show itself is not the problem. It's the idea that oh man, look, it's all these opportunities that are going to be there. It's like these are the same things these teams have done every single year when it was a one-night draft. So, whatever.
Yeah, got a fun one here for Correll Buckwalter.
Get off my lawn, is what I'm saying.
Jeffrey Wall, Cornell Buckwalter, instead of Corell Buckwalter for the Philadelphia Eagles back in the early 2000s as part of the team. Spencer Hall with no S. That's another one that they put up there in our chat. A minute to go, and of course, Daryl Morey is taking every minute of this pick here, and he's not letting it get out there.
I will die if they take Bronny here. That's the Australia.
That's not good for our show, though.
I mean, listen, from a content perspective.
We could try to get Rich Paul to come on and upset. Is this going to affect Tyrese Maxey's max contract?
There's already some rumors out there regarding what the Rich Paul, Tyrese Maxey contingent will ask for in the contract, like some carve outs for.
The only real consideration would be a player option.
Yeah. So.
Well, we'll talk about Jamal Murray in just a bit.
They're really running this down, man.
Yeah, man. Last night,
and by the way, they've done a pretty good job keeping things close to the vest. Because last night,
I don't think you really, because you were doing your stuff, trying to find out who it was and what it was and all that, and with it, trying to figure out what it was and who it was.
We have a pick.
We were sitting there watching it go all the way down to the clock, man. We were watching it. All right, the Sixers have a pick. Who do they have, Derek Bodner?
Adem Bona, a 6'8" center.
UCLA.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, when I talk to you, I would have to pull it up here and find it again. But the information that good motor with the guy, some toughness.
Big time defensive play generator.
Yes.
Blocks around the rim, steals, huge motor. That is really,
will be an impactful player on the offensive glass.
Yeah.
We'll be in foul trouble because, as we talked about, young
That's fine.
players,
he's playing 12 minutes a game.
Young bigs, man, coming in. So, but he is a hard worker. Is what they say about him. Tough, super athletic.
And I think positionally pretty good
motor.
Too.
Got a big wings. He's got like a 7'4" wingspan. Yep. So despite the fact that he's closer to 6'8.5", he's not a true 6'8".
Mm-hmm.
The wingspan will help him get away with playing center at 6'8". I would say this. I don't think it's the best sign in the world for our friend Paul Reed.
But we were assured that Paul was going to be around and they liked his contract. Daryl said it publicly at a press conference.
It's
he's under contract.
So here's let's go back to around the trade deadline, right? We've talked a lot about who they were in the mix for, who they talked about. That Jonas Valanciunas is somebody they kicked the tires on a little bit, but the contract there was tough.
Mm-hmm.
Andre Drummond, they thought they had a deal for. And both of those guys are archetypes that are much different from Paul Reed, right? Like the whole idea was you're going to get a big body, minutes eater type guy that this guy can play over the next 2 months with Joel out. And depending on who the matchup is in the playoffs, like certainly I think if they had gotten Andre Drummond, he's probably better equipped to battle someone like Hartenstein or Mitchell Robinson, for that matter, than Paul Reed was. Like Paul Reed struggled throughout that series. So I think now that you see them take another guy, like an undersized, plays hard, high motor type player, I don't think that says good things about Paul Reed's future with the organization.
And I think the key difference is, he's got pretty much the exact same, despite being shorter, like 2 inches shorter than Paul Reed, he's got almost the exact same standing reach. But I think the key difference is, first of all, the motor's incredible.
Yes.
But he gets off his feet very quickly. I think he is going to alter shots near the rim in a way that Paul Reed doesn't.
Yes.
And I think that's pretty key differentiator because Paul Reed, for all of his, I think he has some switchability on defense. And because of that, I've always been intrigued. And Paul Reed's similar in the fact that he will generate a lot of steals. He just never really altered shots inside. So I think this will allow you to play a little more of a traditional drop if he does end up playing, for the Sixers this year. There's always a chance. G League, there's always a chance. A couple of other different things. Two-way contracts. Who knows? But I do think he has the at least potential to alter shots near the rim in a way that Paul Reed doesn't.
So I would say this. One thing that I heard, and I discussed this with some of the people I trust scouting-wise, was that, and this will be a problem for him in a Sixers context, he is not all that comfortable in dribble handoff situations yet. And so he might have to purely be a pick and roll rim runner type. Right. And that will put some hard limits on what you can do with backup units on offense. Now, look, you're not bringing him in expecting him to be an every night player or he's the guy behind Joel Embiid, right? You can't bring him in with those kind of expectations. He has some offensive weaknesses that he's got to work on. But when you start with a base of plays hard, good wingspan, good rim protector, event creator, and I think he'll be at least a decent finisher at the next level, then that's not a bad place to start. I know I think on the show we've had a guy like Bismack Biyombo come up as if that was a depth big type of guy. Could he be that type of player eventually? I don't think that's completely crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some projection to do, but not out of the question.
So to add on to the athleticism and the motor that we talked about, the other thing that was shared with me was, to the point of you talking about the dribble handoffs and all, the skills and the feel of the game need to catch up with him as a young player. So a lot of work to do. Probably plays, of course, some with the G League and the Blue Coats and get some work done there to help him out overall. But not a bad selection right there to have just some more size there in the front court where, you don't want to bring Mo Bamba back and have him in the mix. No Bamba.
Can we put his name on probation moving forward?
Him and Tobias Harris, those two, because we haven't talked about either one of them.
You're out of here. I don't need to hear about you anymore.
I will say, and look, I think
got a replacement here.
Yeah, I think the chat right now is just reacting to 6'8" center. Like I said, I'm fine with 6'8" if you have the motor and the athletic tools to make up for it. But really what I'm more fine with is, we had a show about centers with the 16th pick. I don't want to draft a backup with the 16th pick. I don't want to draft a guy whose minutes are capped at 12 minutes per game with the 16th pick. But if you're talking 41st pick, there might be offensive concerns. He might be a little undersized. But if you're getting a guy, like I said, with a motor, with really elite athleticism, take a chance. I'm fine with that.
Good screen setter as well, which, look, we've lived through a lot of different backup bigs here in Philadelphia. Plenty of them who like to slip the screen instead of making real contact. So for Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain and whoever else might be leading those bench units, if you're playing with our new pal Bona, he is going to hit that guy that is on you, and hopefully that gives somebody like Maxey a path to the rim. And frankly, for McCain, who's a guy who will be reliant on the big to create separation for him a lot of the time, I think he'll play more minutes with Joel, so it might be a moot point. But someone who's a legit screen setter will make a difference for him, make his life easier early on.
Yeah, level those guys as they try to get around that screen. And physical, pick up those fouls from time to time, but they might think about it again the next time they try to go and run through that screen that he does, in fact, set. And again, if he's part of this team, maybe we'll see him in Summer League and get a glimpse of both of them. McCain.
See some dunks and sick blocks at Summer League. 100%. I'm always down for that.
No, Summer League could be entertaining with these guys.
Yeah. Ricky. Go get him, Rick.
We'll see if Rick has graduated past.
He just got a contract, like a real NBA contract, like 4 months ago. I think he can still probably talk him into Summer League.
You could talk him into 2 games.
Yeah, maybe not the full slate.
And then come hang out with us,
man,
right?
If he ends up playing in Utah and not Vegas, that would be a real disappointment.
I was about to say, he gets his Utah work in, 1 or 2 games in Vegas, just because he likes to show. Let's not kid ourselves. So he wants to show everybody in front of that Las Vegas crowd that he is that guy. And so maybe we'll get to see Rick, see a little Turk out there, and Turk and McCain in the backcourt together. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It will be interesting. But
That
yeah,
will
so
be interesting.
for where they were at and who was on the board, I think it's a perfectly fine fit. Like I don't worry I never really worry about fit once you get to it's like take somebody that you believe can be an NBA rotation player or at least has a chance to be an NBA rotation player, and all the underlying stuff. Like he'll block shots, but to Derek's point, I think he can be a switch defender as well. He's somebody who can step out and guard perimeter players. And if he, now I don't think this will ever happen because he's kind of a disaster free throw shooter and is limited to the paint right now.
And I think he took all of like 12 mid-range jumpers all year.
If he ever expanded his range defensively, he could play with somebody like Embiid. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever see it.
No.
So I think that would be a bona fide disaster.
We all silly like the mayor.